Philadelphia Eagles are Super Bowl champions. Wait, what? Steve, what are you talking about? You just crowned them. What do you mean you fucked up? Mike, Steve fucked up.
He messed up. I don't know what happened. He read the card wrong, and it's not true. So the Eagles, well, they're not contenders. After all this whole thing became misleading. After the Patriots game, people thought that maybe this Eagles team had turned it around. Well, apparently Steve Harvey thought the Eagles had turned it around because he was ready to crown them Super Bowl champions. But instead, Steve read the card wrong, man.
Steve, what are you doing, Steve? Teasing the hell out of us like that. Oh, boy. But, yeah, man, you said it right. The Patriots game, a little bit misleading. And, yeah, man, they were the beneficiary of those 3 return touchdowns, span of a quarter. Sure, it was great to win that game, but we saw last night that this team isn't ready to win anything. This game was a lot like Seattle last year. We put ourselves in a position, and it was a test to see if they could have a legitimate chance to be a legitimate threat in the postseason, and they wilted under the pressure. They came up small. It was a lot like Seattle last year.
Yeah, it's actually a very good comparison. That's, really 2 years in a row now where the Eagles have, faced a big test late in the season, and they couldn't come through. They just weren't up to the task, and the crazy part is that Seattle game was also home for us here in Philadelphia, just like this game was home in Philadelphia at the Link, and just couldn't get it done. So now we'll get into all the facts about this game and really how the Cardinals just outplayed us big time. And the Cardinals showed why they are, serious contender to make a Super Bowl run.
Yeah. I mean, we really did. And just to go back again really quickly. So you're the beneficiary of the 3 turnovers and Gronk being out against the Patriots. Last week, the Bills, I mean, they basically beat themselves. And then last night, I mean, it was a reality check. So we got the reality check. Now, this doesn't mean that the Eagles can't win the next 2 games and win the NFC East, but I mean, I sure as hell don't feel comfortable about hosting a wild card game against Seattle. I'll tell you that.
No, not when you you look at the stats. I saw this last night on Twitter, but Russell Wilson, last 5 games, 19 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. So yeah, I don't think that's a guy you want to be facing heading into the playoffs right now.
No. And when our defense doesn't force turnovers, last night that's what we see.
Yeah, we look like crap when that happens. There's no other way to explain it. We'll get into this later on, but you get Byron Maxwell. He's hurting his $63 million shoulder, and then you have Eric Rowe, was just concussed and confused about what was going on in the game, so he had to leave. So the Eagles became very thin in the secondary. And, we knew going into this game that it was going to be a very difficult challenge going up against the Cardinals and their 3 top wide receivers. And, wow, the Eagles they really didn't have an answer for them. But really the problem in the game became David Johnson. The Cardinals running back ended up with 3 touchdowns, over 180 yards rushing. The guy just absolutely killed us.
He killed us. It was like Doug Martin again. Couldn't tackle. I mean, the one run, he literally went through our entire team, all of them. They could have had 13 men on the field. Wouldn't have mattered. We wouldn't have tackled them. And Yeah, so Ed Reynolds flailing attempt at trying to bring him down. He tried giving him a bear hug up high, and it just wasn't working. So yeah, um, let's talk about the 4th and 1 to start, because we kind of played well the first what 28 minutes. So the first 28 minutes, we kind of hung around. Our offense was, played really well. The only guy that played really, really well, two guys actually, two guys that played really, really well last night, Sam Bradford and Jordan Matthews. We'll get back to those guys in a second. But, the first 28 minutes or so, our defense was kind of flailing, but our offense was kind of, keeping up with them. And that's the crazy part, is as well as we played, we were still trailing in the game. So that just shows how good Arizona is. And it's 17-10. It's 4th and 1 at what? What was it? Like the 20-something yard line? What were we, inside the 20?
Yeah, less than that. It was closer to the 10.
Yeah. So 4th and 1. Do you agree with the decision to go for it there?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think the decision was a problem. I think they definitely had to go for it on 4th down. I think that the Cardinals played this very smart, actually, because with the Eagles, what the Eagles like to do is when they get those 4th and short situations, a lot of time they like to rush up to the line, and that's when they really use their up tempo offense. They rush up to the line, and they can get a playoff before the defense gets set, really. And then that's usually how they can pick up a 4th and short. Cardinals actually did a good job of calling a timeout. Smart play by Bruce Arians there. And then the Eagles, were forced to, rethink what kind of play they were going to run. And, well, I mean, they decided to run the ball with Ryan Matthews in that situation. Didn't work out. These 4th and shorts, I mean, you always wonder if maybe a quarterback sneak would be the better option. It's just something that Chip Kelly doesn't seem to like to do with his quarterbacks, is do the quarterback sneak. It's something that I don't get.
Yeah, I'm 100% with you. And we're going to get into that in a second. The 4th and 1, you can't complain that they went for it. You can't complain about it, because this isn't Washington, all right, or some, poor middling offense or something like Miami or something, where you can afford to just kick the field goal there. But this is Arizona. You got to match scores with them. This is a team you got to score touchdowns against, not settle for field goals. And, they were going to score at least 30 points the way the game was going. So you had to keep pace with them. You had to go for it there. And, Matthews, he kind of picked the wrong hole, too. He had a cut to the inside that he would have had the first down. But, he said he went outside a little bit more and didn't get it. So we settled for no points, absolutely nothing. And, so we gave the ball away. And I mean, I will say this, though. I'm just glad they weren't in shotgun on the play. At least they were under center. But let's get back to this sneak thing, because if I remember correctly, I could be wrong about this, but I believe Chip has tried the quarterback sneak one time I believe it was against Dallas in that win or die all, take home game in week 17, 2013. He tried it on a 4th and goal, I believe, and Foles got stopped short. He's never tried it again. And he's even been asked why he doesn't sneak it. And he referenced that play. And that's it. So that's his reasoning for not sneaking the ball. And I don't like it at all.
Yeah, well, I'm with you. And, I kind of, refer this quarterback sneak thing back to the Eagles and, trying to go for 2-point conversions. If you remember, the Eagles, first season with Chip Kelly, it was against the Chiefs, actually, against when, Big Andy came back to Philadelphia, and the Eagles tried to do a 2-point conversion. Didn't work out. And, well, that's the last time we really saw the Eagles try to attempt a 2-point conversion. So it's the same thing with this quarterback sneak. Tripp tried it once, and it didn't work out. And now he doesn't ever go back to it. And it's it's just one of those plays where it doesn't matter who the quarterback is, what size he is. I mean, anyone should be able to pick up 5 inches.
Yeah. Yeah, seriously. 5 inches. That's less than what's in your pants. Okay? So it's not much you gotta get. The other question I want to pose to you. Should DeMarco Murray have been in the game? He only had 2 carries for 3 yards, but should he have been in the game on 4th and 1?
Well, I mean, I guess if you could make a case for DeMarco being in there, is that in Dallas he was definitely used in those 3rd and short situations, so he was good at picking it up there. And I mean, here in Philadelphia, he's been known to get 1 or 2 yards on every carry. So, hey, maybe he would have been the right option there since he would be guaranteed to get a yard. But, I mean, I think that the Eagles made the right call there with going with Matthews. I mean, Murray really hasn't done anything all season. So I think they were fine with going with Matthews there. I'm not a big fan of the play call. Really, the quarterback sneak, how I view it is if you go with the quarterback sneak in that situation, you can't be mad with the play call because I don't know what the stat is, but I would love to know what this stat is, what the conversion rate is for a quarterback sneak in those situations, because I would imagine it's at least 85%.
It's definitely high when Tom Brady's doing it. I'll tell you that. I completely agree with you. I didn't want Murray in there. Hell no, absolutely not. I don't want him in there. But it was funny listening to the telecast last night because they were really trying to push the Murray storyline. And us in Philadelphia, we know that he sucks. We don't want him on the field. And they're trying to push it like, why isn't Chip have him out there? Well, he's not out there because he sucks. That's basically the whole premise of it. He's not out there because he stinks.
Yeah, and plus in a situation like that, I mean, Murray was on the bench for the whole game. And, well, it was a cold night in Philadelphia where we haven't been used to this with such a mild December that we've had. But it was actually really, one of the first cold nights that we've had here in December. So Murray was sitting on that sideline for most of the game. His bones were getting cold, so I can see why they would go with Matthews, who was playing most of the game anyway, and he was already juiced up and ready to go. So yeah, I don't think that they can anyone can say that they made the wrong decision with going with Matthews there. So yeah, I mean, it just didn't work out. Actually, Chip today said the reason that they decided to go with Matthews is that Matthews is a bigger running back. Well, Chip is just lying because I looked up what their weight and height is, and well, they're pretty much the same person. So obviously, Chip Kelly is just trying to cover up for a lie there.
Maybe we're misinterpreting what bigger means.
Yeah, hey, I don't know what Chip Kelly and Ryan Matthews have going on off the field, but.
Oh man, but like I was saying earlier, man, I mean, we played well up to that point. First 28 minutes of the game, we hung around with the Cardinals, and we just couldn't sustain it. We couldn't keep up. And then we had the 2 turnovers on back-to-back drives. I mean, those were killers. Sam got, strip sack from behind. Matthews fumbled the ball. So after those 2 turnovers, you kind of knew the game was over after that.
Yeah, and then the third one was the pick six, Bradford and Deion Buchanan. And, well, I'm just going to, put a big warning out there before I say this. But do not look up the 2014 draft and do not look up where Deion Buchanan was drafted, because if you do, there's a good chance that you'll be throwing your computer outside of the window and breaking it, because Deion Buchanan was drafted right after Marcus Smith.
You just told people not to look it up, and then you told them.
Well, I'm sorry. I just had to tell them, Oh, God.
Marcus had a half a sack yesterday, though.
Wow, yeah, he's making great strides.
Positive strides. You know, he had his first solo tackle a couple weeks ago. Baby steps, baby steps.
That's right. But yeah, it was a. I mean, back to these turnovers. I mean, it all fell apart for the Eagles there. You can't have, 3 straight turnovers and expect to beat a good team like the Cardinals. I mean, you have that many turnovers in a row, you'll be lucky to beat an average team in the NFL. So, let alone the Cardinals, it's not going to happen.
Yeah, you know how I talked about how the Patriots had 3 turnovers and the Bills beat themselves with 15 penalties. Well, Arizona had no turnovers and just 1 penalty in the game. So you were going to have to play a perfect game if you wanted to win that game last night.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And well, the Eagles did not play a perfect game. And like you said, it all led up to that 4th and 1. Before that 4th and 1, Eagles were actually in the game. The Eagles were not playing a perfect game, but they were playing a pretty solid game up until that point, enough to stay in the game and keep it close, but not getting that 4th and 1. And then the game really turned is started the second half. Eagles get the football, and well, they really needed to drive down the field, at least get a field goal or a touchdown, and didn't happen. They had the punt, and well, after that, Cardinals get a touchdown, and we have the 3 turnovers in a row, and that's a ball game.
Yep. So that was that. Coming into the game, I was really curious to see how our secondary would fare against Arizona's wide receivers. I mean, their wideouts are, they might be the best in the game as a core right now. John Brown, Larry Fitzgerald, Michael Floyd, Jerron Brown, they got 4 or 5 guys deep. I mean, they're really good. But we had injuries, and we really didn't see those guys. Eric Rowe got hurt. He got a concussion. Byron Maxwell hurt his shoulder. And basically all we saw was the opening drive. And the opening drive was not pretty at all. Eric Rowe got beat real quick by John Brown. Completely outran him on the post pattern. And then Byron Maxwell went for a 20-yard piggyback ride. So was not a good start for the secondary.
Yeah, well, it's a shame with Rowe that he had to get that concussion, because I was really looking forward to seeing how he would fare against these Cardinals wide receivers. So it's a shame that he had to go out so early. But yeah, then Maxwell, well, he got the nice piggyback ride there, and after that, yeah, he fell off, and that was about it. That's about the last we saw from him. Well, actually, the way that Maxwell kept getting hurt because the guy doesn't know how to tackle. That's the major problem. How this guy is a cornerback in the NFL and doesn't know how to tackle. Well, it's pretty amazing, because he kept getting injured because he can't tackle correctly. So
he makes Asante Samuel look like Dick Butkus, man. The guy just refuses to tackle anybody. He can't do it. He just can't. But I will say this. Jalen Watkins came in there, played really well. EJ Biggers played okay. I mean, he played good to start. Then he started getting, spun around like a top, I guess is the right way to put it. That 1 touchdown to Larry Fitzgerald, I think he did a whole tour around the world. He was just spinning everywhere on that. But those guys came in, they really didn't play that bad. So I got to give the secondary at least a smidgen of credit. It was the run defense which was the problem, oh, boy. So David Johnson looks like Doug Barton. Same kind of deal. We come off a game where LaShawn McCoy had just 11 yards on his final 11 carries. So you're thinking, all right, maybe the run defense is short up, and then we saw that garbage last night.
yeah, well, this Eagles team is just very, very confusing. I mean, that's the only thing I can say, because I don't know how this was the same team that played against Sean McCoy last week, and well, they were very fundamentally sound. They did, a great job of staying gap discipline against McCoy. Second half, the Eagles did an outstanding job against McCoy. Probably their best performance of the entire season against the opposing team's running game. But then it's this game. We go back to the basics, and we can't complete the basics, the basic fundamentals of tackling, and it's just so frustrating. I mean, David Johnson, that long touchdown run of almost 50 yards, it should have been a loss or even a no gain on the play, and somehow he breaks out of the pack, and well, he's racing down the sideline for a touchdown, and it's just things like that in a game against a good team. You just can't miss opportunities to make a tackle.
Yeah, and some of the holes were pretty gaping as well. And on that TD run, that did have something to do with the Rowe and Maxwell injuries, because I mean, yeah, Reynolds has gotten more snaps, but he might have not have been out on the field on that play, because like his attempt at a tackle was just awful, and just really bad. Just ran right through him. So and he's the last man of defense. I mean, you got to bring him down. You got to at least steer him towards the sideline, and he did none of that. So big F, big two thumbs down for me. Two thumbs down for Ed. Not good, Ed. Not good.
No, not good. I mean, if Ed Reynolds was a parking lot attendant, he would get an A+, because he did a great job of directing David Johnson right into the end zone. So the problem is it's not a parking lot, so he's not a parking lot attendant. He plays safety for the Eagles. So maybe a parking lot attendant was his daytime job, and he forgot that it was the nighttime.
Oh man, there's a theory out there that the Eagles' defense has worn down as the season's gone along, because they've been out on the field more than anybody in the NFL. Do you think this is a problem?
No, I did. I mean, not in recent weeks, really. I don't think it was a problem last night. And really, I mean, when you have these primetime games like Sunday night, Monday Night Football, it's not an issue, because I mean, Jesus Christ, there's a commercial every 2 seconds. They kick the ball off, commercial. The best part is when a guy gets injured and he's down for like 2 seconds, then he gets up and he's walking off the field, and they're like, "Oh, injury timeout." So no, that's not a factor in these primetime games. And last night it wasn't a factor really, because the first half, really, most of the game, the Eagles on offense, they did a nice job of moving the football. They didn't have too many 3-and-outs. It can maybe become a factor when the Eagles get into a game and they have multiple 3-and-outs, but wasn't too many 3-and-outs in this game.
Yeah, I mean, I think this theory is just complete rubbish. I mean, it's not the offense's fault that the defense can't get off the field on third down. I mean, how many times have you seen it? 3rd and 9, quick slant, first down, move the chains. So we see it all the time. And no, it's not the offense. The defense has not been worn down. I mean, they train for this kind of shit. They go hardcore in practice. The Eagles are probably the most conditioned team in the NFL. I mean, that's just the way they run practices. So I don't believe in that theory whatsoever. So I'm with you there. So there you go. All right, let's get on to Sam Bradford, Sammy Sleeves. He played pretty well, I thought. I mean, the numbers are pretty good too for you number lovers too. So 28 of 41, 361 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. I mean, he got hit basically every play, it seemed like. Thoughts on Bradford, Mike?
Yeah, well, kind of ironic, because I was at the game, about a month ago now, when the Eagles were playing the Dolphins, and well, Bradford got hurt in that game, and the fans were cheering that Sanchez had to come into the game. Well, fast forward to last night, Bradford gets hurt on a play, and he has to come out for one play. Sanchez comes in. Well, then it seems like Bradford's okay to come back in the game. Bradford walks back into the game. Well, the fans give Bradford a standing ovation. So what a difference a month makes. But yeah, I guess it took some time for people to realize that Sanchez is a horrible quarterback and he cannot be the quarterback of this team. But going back to Bradford, I think that Bradford really just continued the build off. Really, the past few games that he's played here, it looked good to me. I mean, there's not much negative that you can say about Bradford right now. He's playing good enough football to lead this team to victory. And, there was a few throws last night when it brought me back to that preseason game against the Packers where we saw that pinpoint accuracy. So I think if you're, looking at the future, this is a positive sign with Bradford.
Yeah, completely agree. And I'll say this about Sammy, because at the pro level, at the NFL level, he's yet to, have to play in a huge, meaningful game. I believe the only one he's really played in was his rookie year when the NFC West was being decided. That was the year that Seattle went 7-9. I believe that's like the only real like playoff game he's ever really been a part of, late season kind of deal. And we're gonna see the last three games. Can he handle the pressure of these huge games with playoff implications? I thought he delivered last night. The next two games, he's got two more games to kind of showcase that. And dude, he was in a rhythm last night. He pinpoint accurate, like you were talking about. So the throw to Matthews on the third down, that's the one that really sticks in my mind. Stuck in my mind. I thought that was a great throw. Yeah, man, he looked comfortable. He was in rhythm. He was pinpoint accurate, moving the offense down the field. At least the first half he was. Second half, it got just a little, had those interceptions. But I have no complaints from Sammy.
Yeah, it's not one of those games where you can point to Bradford and say it was his fault. I mean, Bradford went out there, got the job done, and this was a big test for Bradford because the Cardinals are known for bringing the house on defense and bringing lots of blitzes. So I thought that Bradford did a really good job of handling the situation. I mean, there was multiple times where Bradford was standing back there. He knew that he was just going to get absolutely clobbered, and he would deliver, the ball right on target. So you got to give Bradford a lot of credit. I mean, he got popped all night long, but he kept getting up. I mean, the fact that he only missed one play in that game is pretty amazing considering some of the shots that he took.
Dude, you said it earlier, how he gets blamed for everything. He literally does. I mean, everyone thinks it's his fault. I don't know why Eagles fans think this. Steve Harvey crowns the wrong Miss Universe. It's Sam Bradford's fault. It's always Sammy's fault. I don't know why, but yeah, whatever. All right, let's talk about our receivers because I thought Jordan Matthews played pretty well. There were two guys, like I said earlier, that played really well last night. Sam Bradford, Jordan Matthews. Some of the catches he was making on third down, there was the one like sliding catch he made going to his right. He showcased good hands last night. I thought he was good.
Yeah, no, I mean, Jordan Matthews got the job done. Jordan Matthews was he's been bothered by a back injury lately, so
that's because he's carrying the receiving core on his back, and it hurts.
Yeah, no, you're right. Exactly, he is carrying this receiving core. So last week you could see that he was kind of bothered by that back injury. This week really couldn't tell any side effects of it. He was really out there in full force, getting the job done early on, making key third down catches, but. In the second half, he got that one easy touchdown, long touchdown. But nice job by him. But really, I mean, the rest of the receiving core is it's been an issue all year, but it's getting to the point where it's just becoming an embarrassment. I mean, we're getting to the point where Nelson Aguilar, where I mean, the guy has to get open. He's got to do something because they got no one else. I mean, they got Josh Huff. He does something here and there. I mean, at least Josh Huff does a good job of returning kickoffs.
Oh man, you know, the guy that's really been dropping the ball lately is Zach Ertz, and that's been disappointing. He's got a case of the dropsies, like Matthews had earlier in the season. This is funny because I despise Josh Huff and I hate him and I call him Mr. Suck. But I think he should see some more snaps. There are a couple times where he gets the slant and he rumbles after the catch. He gets some good yardage. And I don't know. I'd like to see him on the field a little bit more just because we have nothing else. And that's just me, I guess. I don't know. What do you think? Mr. Suck, should he get more snaps?
Yeah, well, I mean, he's got to, unless they've got some kind of other plan, but that's not happening because I tell you, Riley Cooper is not going to be making catches. I can tell you that much. So they've really got no other options. I mean, at this, the problem right now, and well, it's been for the whole season, they just don't have anybody that can stretch the field, and it's a major issue. I mean, just look at the Cardinals are just with their receiving core. I mean, they had so many plays over 10 yards last night. It was ridiculous. And well, the Eagles, they just can't do that because they don't have the talent to do it with the receivers that they have. But yeah, I mean, maybe with Huff, I mean, hell, just send him a straight route down the field. Let him use his speed. They got to figure out something.
Yeah, they got to do something. They got to shake it up. I mean, I don't know. I really don't know. I got nothing. Yeah. So I wanted to talk now about the ratio. It was 41 passes, 20 runs. Obviously, we got down, so we had to throw the ball a little bit more. But the reason why we have been successful the last 2 weeks is because we've maintained a more 50-50 ratio with the run and the pass. Chip in his career, I believe he's 14-2 when he runs the ball more than he throws it. And the ratio just wasn't there last night. So, what thoughts on that?
Yeah, well, it's one of those situations where when we get down big and then we have to pass the ball to keep up, and this all goes back to our wide receivers. We don't have receivers like the Cardinals to keep up in a game like that. So yeah, we kind of got screwed in a way because it was going to be almost impossible to keep up with the Cardinals with not having the talent at wide receiver.
Yeah, it was funny because after the game, they were asking Chip why DeMarco wasn't getting the ball, and he was saying that, we got down early, so we had to throw the ball a lot, and that limited his carries. So that was Chip's little excuse last night. So that's that. Yeah, man, 2 carries, 3 yards, got booed each time he touched the ball.
This whole situation is it's becoming weird. I mean, DeMarco Murray's carries are just getting less and less by the week, and it's I mean, I know they paid him all this money. I mean, they're at a point at this point in the season where I think they just have to. I mean, they had 2 games left. They have to chalk it up and say, look, all right, DeMarco is not fitting the system this year. Deactivate him. I think that they got to deactivate him for these final 2 games. I think you got to get Barner in there. I think you use all 3. I think you use Matthews, Sproles, and Barner. Hey, I mean, did the Eagles not watch the game tape from that Patriots game? I mean, Barner was actually a pretty big reason why they won that game. I mean, minus that fumble at the end of the game, but Barner did a nice job. So I don't know why you keep Murray active to sit on the sideline?
I'm with you there. I mean, you run those sweeps, you interchange Sproles, Matthews, and Barner. I think that could work because that's what we saw in the Patriots game. So that's what I would do. I would run the ball a ton. Matthews, Sproles, and Barner. That's what I would do. But I'm not the coach. Yeah, I mean, no DeMarco. I completely do not mind that at all. I think he's kind of checked out too. I mean, if you watch the game he's kind of by himself. He just kind of sitting there moping a little bit. So I think he's a little checked out. I think he wants to go back to Dallas. Maybe we could trade him for a sombrero.
Yeah, I think that he wants to head back to Dallas too. He might be regretting his decision to sign on here in Philadelphia. And you look back on the whole situation when we signed DeMarco. We signed DeMarco and Ryan Matthews on the same day, and Murray was a guy that stole the headlines that day, but Matthews is a guy that's having the better season, and he's a guy that's a better fit for this offense.
Yeah. There you go. Moving on to another topic, just really quickly. Obviously, he's got a knee injury and he's dealing with issues and all that stuff. But has Kiko Alonso been a disappointment?
Yeah, I think that Kiko's head is it's not in the game right now. I think Kiko's head is on the beach in California because it's not playing football right now. And the thing with Kiko too is he's got that laid back California attitude, and I mean, and not that that's gonna switch, but you would hope that maybe after this season he'll get adjusted to the Philly type of attitude, East Coast style of football. But right now he's just laid back, and the thing with him, I mean, we've kind of been saying that his knee has been playing a part in this, but I was really hoping that maybe the past week or two he would start to really pick up his play and kind of look like the guy that he was his rookie year. But I mean, it's almost getting worse in a way, and this is something that I'm really starting to be concerned about because if he does not pan out and he turns out to be a bust, then this whole trade with McCoy it does not look good for Chip Kelly.
No, and you remember because we were watching. We were at work together when the trade happened, and we both just hated it immediately. We're just like, "What? They traded McCoy for Alonso? Wait, there's got to be a draft pick involved, right?" And no, it wasn't.
No, it wasn't. Then it took us some time, a day or two. We really had to think about the trade, and we understood that they were doing it for salary cap purposes. And then I thought about it, and I thought, okay, well, if Kiko can return to the form or near the form that he was his rookie year, I can understand why they would do that then because, they would be getting a hell of a player in Kiko and really a solid linebacker for the future here, but it's not panning out that way right now. Kiko, I think it's fair to say at this point that it's been a pretty big disappointment for us. We were expecting a lot more despite the knee problems.
Yeah, I mean, he's hurt, and it's a little bit unfair to properly evaluate him until next year, but I mean, he's literally done nothing on the highlight tape whatsoever except that interception in week 1. And after that, it's nothing. And literally, I have not seen him flash once. Nothing. I've seen nothing. All I see is his belly shirts. That's the only highlight of the season for him. He's small. The thing that's concerning for me is, he's considered to be like an instinctive kind of smart player, and I'm seeing him overrun the hole a lot when he's playing linebacker. So that's a concern for me. I mean, you don't want to overrun your gap. So that's not the knee there. That's just your instincts. And yeah, so and he's getting overpowered. It's a little concerning. I'm not going to lie. Next year he can be completely okay. He might bounce back from this, but right now, not looking good. It's really not.
No, not looking good. So, I mean, really, we won't be able to make a fair assessment until next season. Let him get a whole off season here to condition his knee again and get back into the groove here. But yeah, it's not looking good right now. But I mean, really, all we can do is hope for the best. And yeah, that's about it.
Yeah, and while it's a little bit unfair to properly evaluate him until next year, the other thing you got to take into account is what if he never regains that explosion in his knee? Because that's possible. It's totally possible that that's the case. So, unfortunate situation with him, but whatever. All right. So, before we kind of close the show out, I've been watching a lot of 2013 lately, and because it's funny because a lot of the same things we're seeing now with the play calling, a lot of the same stuff then too. He likes to do the swing pass on first down, and then second down it's the inside zone. But in 2013, we had Deshaun Jackson running the swing pass, and we would add deception to it because Deshaun was running the swing, and in the left flat you had McCoy. So wow, that's pretty tough for a defense to stop. So those swing passes that we see now go for what, 2-3 yards? Well, Jackson was getting consistently getting over 5 yards of these plays. So you would get that, and then the inside zone with McCoy, and with Evan Mathis in there clearing the way, well, McCoy would get 6-7 yards. So you can only imagine how much easier it was, getting the chains moving and getting that tempo going with those guys.
Yeah, I mean, that's for sure. The problem now is, you look at this Eagles offense and, well, opposing teams come into the game, and who do they have to worry about? Really? It's Sproles. I mean, but he's not a guy that's playing every down. I mean, he plays sparingly, so he's not a guy that you really have to worry about that much. I mean, the only receiver that you have to worry about, Jordan Matthews, okay, but and then Zach Ertz, the tight end. That's about it. The Eagles really, they don't have anyone, like I said, that's really stretching the field at this point. And, going into this Washington game briefly, just hopefully maybe this is a game where we can start to stretch the field a little bit more, because if you remember, the first Washington game this year, that was the most that we've thrown the ball down the field. So maybe we can do that again, this week heading into Washington, against Washington at home.
Yeah, and it's going to be almost the same thing because Chris Culliver, I believe, is out for the season. I'm pretty sure Hall's hurt too, right? Still.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's hurt.
So they're without their two, starters. Bashaud Breeland's good, but no Chris Culliver. That's their guy they got in the offseason. So I think we'll be able to beat Washington a little bit deep, but I don't think this game's going to be as easy as people might think. We'll save it for the preview, but I guess we'll get your quick thoughts on it real quick before we do final thoughts, because you can't make the show on Wednesday. So let's just do your little mini preview of the game and kind of what you're expecting. And if you want, give us a prediction. I know it's really early, but just say what you want to say about this game.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, I'm not feeling very good about this Washington game. I don't mean to be a Debbie Downer, but yeah, people think that this Washington game is easy, and this is not an easy game. What really worries me is that I think that there is probably a 90% chance that we are going to be without either Eric Rowe or without Byron Maxwell in this game. And if we don't have one of those two guys, well, you know what that means, and that means more VJ Biggers. and all that just means bad things. And we're talking about, facing Deshaun Jackson. I mean, if John Brown is burning us, Deshaun Jackson is going to burn us. So, and it's not looking promising there. The Redskins are very hot right now. Kirk Cousins is on fire. I mean, the Redskins just torched the Bills at home in Washington, and the Bills were here in Philadelphia just last week, and we just beat them, and that was with the Bills committing a bunch of penalties. So my thoughts on this Washington game, just to sum it up, I think it's going to be really tough, and unfortunately, I don't think the Eagles are going to win. I think that the Eagles are going to end up losing this game. I'm going to say they're going to lose like 30-23. So I don't think we're going to pull it out. It's just, I think, again, it's going to be a situation where the defense fails us. And, I mean, I've been on this train for a while, but I'm on the fire Billy Davis train.
Oh, well. Yeah, no need to get into that further because I could go and just, hate. I'm just thinking about all the hate emojis I'm gonna send out on my Twitter account referencing Billy Davis. Not a fan. Never been a fan. I want him gone. It's a funny tidbit though. The Eagles were the last 2 weeks when they won. They sent the least amount of blitzes to the quarterback. They were the least blitzing team in the NFL. And a lot of the reason for that was Fletcher Cox because he's literally in the backfield every play.
Yeah. Well, Fletcher Cox, I mean, at least he's the one guy that we can rely on defense right now. He's the only guy that freaking decides to show up every game.
Oh, man. It's funny with Cox, the Twitter humor that people like to use with Christmas coming up and they're talking about which jersey they want to buy. So if you're immature, I thought this was funny. So you get girls are talking about what they want, a white Cox or a black Cox, but there's also a green Cox.
Oh boy, yeah. But you could go, many different ways with these Cox jokes. So yeah, it's the Christmas time. It's the black Cox. He was out last night, and yeah, he was. It doesn't matter what color Cox it is. I mean, the guy is. He just makes it happen all the time. But yeah, I don't know, man. This season has just left me baffled.
Yeah, we're just not that good this year. Just not that good. Just an average team. Just an average 8-8 team. That's all we are. That's all we are. So let's move on to final thoughts time. Let's wrap this one up. What do you got to say, Mike?
Yeah, well, I mean, I guess talk about the whole Odell Beckham situation with the Giants, and yesterday went up against Josh Norman, who has ascended to the top cornerback in the NFL right now. Josh Norman playing outstanding football for the Panthers, and well, Josh Norman, he shut down Odell Beckham yesterday in the first half, and really did a good job of shutting him down for the entire game. And this was the first time really that I've seen Beckham lose his cool. Beckham really embarrassed himself yesterday in the game. He took a lot of cheap shots at Norman, slapping him across his helmet. The other play, Beckham got so frustrated that he did a leap and did a helmet-to-helmet shot on Norman, which is going to be reviewed by the league. And well, for us Eagles fans, it would be fine if they decide to suspend Beckham for 2 games, but doubt that's going to happen. But yeah, really, with Beckham, just not good for him. He really handled himself in a poor fashion, and he really let his emotions get to him. So yeah, thumbs down for Beckham and the way he handled the whole situation.
Yeah. with you there. My final thought, Temple football tomorrow, baby, in the Boca Raton Bowl, playing Toledo. Tyler Matakevich's last game as an Owl. I mean, it's insane. The guy's got over 100 tackles in each of his 4 seasons in college football. That's just remarkable. Great player. Make sure you watch him tomorrow night. Unfortunately, Temple couldn't beat Houston in the American title game. So instead of playing in the Peach Bowl and playing Florida State, they're stuck playing Toledo. Yeah. So whatever. We'll win tomorrow night, though. Jahad Thomas can make it wiggle. PJ Walker's a good one. So we're going to win tomorrow night. Temple, baby. Bowl victory. Mark it down. So that's my final thought. And Mike had his as well. So there we go. We're out of here. Go Birds, but we're not feeling good about it. Let's go, though. Let's win the NFC East. And fuck you, Steve Harvey. Later.